I've been waiting to make this video for a very long time. For over 2 years, I've studied the field of web series and dedicated myself to the dissection, interpretation, and public awareness of the art form. YouTube is a truly incredible place, a site where anybody can present anything to the world. And yet, so few creators pursuing visual storytelling choose to take advantage of the platform to display their art. The web series is not a rare breed of channel, but it's not nearly enough of a presence yet to stand up to vloggers, let's players, parody channels, and the usual YouTube fare. Month after month, series after series, one alternate reality game after another, I've seen the incredible talent, passion, intelligence, and dedication of those I've covered in my videos. The dream I had when I created the Nightmind channel is more than just alive now. It's thriving, growing, getting stronger every time I make a new discovery. I don't think that creative people understand how much power they actually have, and I don't think many have realized just how much power we all have together. I look at platforms like Netflix and Hulu and how successful they are with original material, how much freedom their creators are given and how much everyone is rewarded through it. Inspiration flows from these places in torrents. So why aren't we following their lead? Sitting here with a truly open platform, the entire landscape of YouTube with its millions and millions of viewers laid out in front of us, why aren't we raising cities and theme parks of our own? Yes, Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon all have massive amounts of money to spend, studios at their disposal, and resources beyond imagination, but they, like us, all started out small, with an idea, driving passion, and the courage to give their dream a chance. In June of 2009, Troy Wagner had only a camera, his computer, and an idea spurred by a simple Photoshop image on a humor forum. That idea grew big enough to launch that Photoshop image into worldwide recognition, gain the attention of renowned film critic Roger Ebert, inspire a movie, and make YouTube history with an intro video to a web series that holds over 4,441,000 views. On December 22, 2012, Jesse Ridgway uploaded a video he planned out with his family showing an allegedly psychotic father destroying his son's Xbox, kicking off a series of recorded freakouts and incidents of destructive behavior that gathered an audience of over 7 million viewers per video, across a span of 50 installments. And on July 29, 2011, Becky Sloan and Joseph Pelling introduced the world to Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, a short film project using all the resources and help from friends they could scrape together because the two art students had absolutely no budget to pursue their idea. After releasing the short online and receiving overwhelming support for a sequel, Becky and Joe were able to provide a follow-up video and then produce a full series with the backing of a $120,000 Kickstarter campaign. The first video has since generated over 46 million views and is one of the most well-known art pieces to ever appear on YouTube. These are only 3 stories of creative people who had an idea and were brave enough to pursue them. Despite having no budgets, no studio backing, or major resources, they let their passion take form and created something they and millions of people will remember for the rest of their lives. I've created and maintained an entire channel dedicated to the pursuit of helping creations like these grow and flourish. I want to be there for the next Marble Hornets, the next McJuggernuggets, the next Don't Hug Me I'm Scared. I want to be there for the channels that new breakout hits will inspire and the ones who are inspired after them. I want to be there for the amazing viral hits and the brilliant hidden gems. Big, small, or somewhere in between. I want to see great projects grow and watch creators realize their visions and their dreams. YouTube is a place where art can reach its audience, no matter how weird, and connections can be made in ways that not even television can manage. I've been waiting for the chance to move beyond just digging up good things I find so I can help more of them appear. Many of you have asked me, how do I make a web series? How do I make an ARG? What do I have to do? Where do I begin? How can I get noticed? Where do I get ideas? I'm ready to teach you all that I've learned on my journey through creating and hosting Nightmind, and everything about crafting stories and developing ideas that I know. You want to join the fold and help create YouTube's very own community-driven version of Netflix? I'd love nothing more than to help you make that dream a reality. 11 news stories given a spotlight, 12 internet mysteries dissected and explored, 3 giant web series covered in their full timelines over 15 videos. I have lived, breathed, and dreamed dark fiction for over 2 years, and waited nearly as long to tell you everything that I've learned. It's time to truly welcome you to Nightmind by helping you open yours. Imagination, fantasy, and nightmares both beautiful and horrible lay just around the corner. Follow me into the dark again this evening, and I'll reveal the secrets I've kept behind these eyes. Class is about to begin. Get your notebooks and writing utensils out, get comfortable, and set your volume just right. This is, at long last, How to Make a Web Series. Okay, I'd like to begin this course by thanking the class for letting me ramble on with my stuffy introduction. It's an honor and a privilege I abuse at the beginning of every semester. But that is about as much emotional gushing as you're going to get from me. From here on out, preaching is strictly information driven. You're all here for answers, and I'm here to announce that I don't have them. Answers being real, straightforward, indisputable facts to respond to that question, how do I make a web series, I mean. Because having answers implies that there's an explicitly wrong and explicitly right way to do things, which in the field of art is never truly the case. There are technically right and wrong ways to execute certain things based on what you're attempting to convey or achieve, but that only applies to specific parts of everybody's individual case. There aren't any general rules to cover everything, only common practices that have been seen producing positive results. In fact, the best art often comes from breaking the so-called rules that are in place. Art is meant to break rules. It redefines rules constantly by showing us new ways of thinking, feeling, and expression. It reveals things that we had never even considered. If there were rules, I would have answers. So now, I don't have answers. What I have instead is something you can carry with you and use in every field of art and life to get what you're after. Logic. Telling you all explicitly how to make a web series and putting your expression and ideas into a box would be sucking the life out of your art. It's entirely counterproductive to the idea of creativity. We've all seen this episode of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Come on now. Teaching you the logic I've learned behind the intention, creation, production, and presentation of art, however, will give you what you're actually asking me for. Direction, guidance, the results of study and experience. An explanation of how that creator did what they did to make you feel the way that you do. It's not how to make a web series that you want to know. What you're really asking is, how do I get my idea to come to life the way that I see it, hear it, feel it, and know it in my head so other people experience this? How do I take all of this stuff on the inside and put it online looking the way I envision it, feeling the way I intend it to feel, and get other people to see and feel what I do from it? This is the struggle of every creator who has ever been, and there aren't any rules for it. Every case is different, and we learn what has an effect and what doesn't through the experiments that came before us. What we have instead of a rulebook is a logical toolkit. Thinking, analyzing, reasoning, finding a path to make things work each step of the way. It's not about don't do this or don't do that. It's about how to address the needs of your story according to what you know must be achieved, and how to execute it through knowledge you obtain of presentation, design, and audience empathy based on a history of example cases, experience, education, and intuition. But before we got to all of that really specific stuff, I needed to make that very important opening statement. I'm not here to give you rules. I'm not here to dictate how art is made or to say what is against the law of web series. Nick Nocturne is not the authority of online art forms. This course is really for anybody who wants to know what I have to say about creating web series, my reasoning, and everything I've learned related to the subject. I can tell you through all of my understanding, all my learning, all my experience and education what I see happening in any circumstance of potential action, design, and execution for a project or idea. But the only one who rules over your art is you. You don't need me or my permission to make something at all. I'm not the authority. You can go out and make whatever you please, and I wish the absolute best of luck and reward to you. Even if you want to make something you feel I would hate, go right ahead and make what you wish. I'm not here to tell you no, and I'm not here to give you rules. But when it comes to everything you want to know from me, everything I would have to say, all the advice, direction, and explanation I can give, my thoughts on audience reaction for your project, your chances of being seen by an audience at all, how to go about a certain thing, pitfalls to avoid, chances to take, courses of action and problem solving, opinions on this, that, and all of the rest. This is where you'll find it. I'm not the referee in this creative game, but I will absolutely be your coach if you'll have me. The only law I'm going to dictate is that you never, ever try to directly contact me in character to rope me into your web series or ARG or try to make me notice it so I'll create a video on your project. No tweets, no emails, Let's keep the lines between content creator and broadcaster clean, okay? If at any point you want me to know about something you think I'd like to see, please just leave me an anonymous message about it through Tumblr, or pretend it's something cool you just happen to find and tell me on Twitter. As long as I don't know it's yours and the characters of your series don't try to poke my face through social media, you get added to my recommendation list and I'll stop by to look at what you've built. This is something I felt shouldn't need to be said, but 2 years of being contacted by mysterious strangers using binary codes and cryptic threats with YouTube links to new web series proved otherwise. So, there we go. Finally, I have been waiting to give that public announcement for far too long. Okay, are we cool then? Excellent. Get your notes ready, get a drink if you need to, and get patient. We've got a lot to cover and all of it is important, especially this first lesson coming up. I'll warn you now, this video and the videos that follow will not be like anything else that I do on Night Mind. I talk a lot about the stuff I cover in general during my uploads, but in this entire course, I'm going full college professor lecture on you. Visuals will not always be here to accompany my statements. Sometimes you're just going to be staring at the NM logo for a little while, though I am going to push as hard as I can to present images at all times, and I'm going to be doing plenty of talking and explaining at length. Patience and attention is mandatory for this. Do not expect the usual Night Mind treatment. We're not going on a quick tour of material. We're taking a long drive on the scenic route and seeing all the sights. I'm going to be talking at Marble Hornets explain levels of blabbing and Everyman hybrid levels of explaining. This isn't going to be for all the viewers out there and I know it, but this is a commitment I've been dying to attend to that needs to be done. If you're just really curious to know how this all works, my ideas on creativity and the creative process, you'll probably enjoy this even if you don't want to make a web series. If you do want to make a web series or some form of online storytelling and you're absolutely serious about it, then do know that I've done everything in my power with this project to help you. If you mean it when you say you're going to do this, you'll see the course through, even if I get a little bit dry. So, without any more disclaimers in our way, let's go. I found the realm of storytelling is illuminated by the asking of questions. Story is not a house built by its author. It is a new territory that is explored and mapped out. Asking questions leads you on every step of your expedition. As a creator, you have a constant requirement to talk to yourself. We're going to approach the first leg of our course by doing exactly that, holding personal interviews. While it's true that there's nobody we lie to more than ourselves, it's also true that we are the people we're most honest with. Does that sound contradictory or a little complex? Well, that's because it is, especially when it comes to separating truth and lies during the first phase of our journey. Why are you here? Why do you feel like making a web series, alternate reality game, immersive online story, or internet project? Let's sit down for a moment and be completely honest. Just you and me. I want you to think of the feelings you have when you daydream about your project, even if it's only a seed of an idea that you have right now. Do you find yourself thinking more about the story, the characters, and the feelings that certain scenes or images in it give you? Or do you find yourself thinking more about talking to your friends and family about the big project you're working on? Do you envision yourself carefully crafting everything in the video editor on your computer to really nail the look and pacing you're after? Or do you tend to think more about, say, having your project covered in a glowingly positive review video by a popular channel? Who do you think about more when it comes to emotional experiences as a result of this story coming to life? Your characters or yourself? Let's be totally real here. No modesty. Every artist who has ever made something, ever, at any point in the history of man, has wanted other people to notice their work and give them a positive response. Once food, shelter, and the immediate threat of death have been taken care of, the ultimate human need becomes love. Human beings live to gain approval. Whether they do it quietly or go about it in obvious ways, people are always on the hunt for admiration, if only from a single person. And artists and creative people want to feel this more than anyone, as they are always the harshest, most relentless critics of their own work, and, quite often, their entire existence. That's why we need this opening checkpoint. Approval, recognition, self-esteem, these are constantly desired by humans. Creative people are especially susceptible to such feelings, and the field of online storytelling is one of creativity. This is part of who we are, whether we like it or not, and we need to accept it. But what do we do about it once we acknowledge that it's there? We take inventory and confront the balance of emotions within. The difference between somebody who actually wants to make art and somebody who's in it for the wrong reasons lies not in the absence of their feelings to be loved as a creator, but in the prominence of that desire. The desire is always going to be there. What matters is how big it is. Ask yourself, do I love my idea more than I love what it can do for me? Am I willing to take shortcuts to get noticed, or do I savor the idea of conquering a creative challenge despite the odds? Do I feel more pride thinking about successfully running my project, or thinking about other people knowing that I'm successful? When I lose focus daydreaming at work, school, and with friends and family, am I thinking about my idea and what goes on in the story, or what can happen for me if I make that story? You need to figure out whether you've been led here by creative inspiration or emotional ambition. And I know it's not easy to confront and accept vanity in yourself, but you're not doing this alone. Everyone has this. Every artist and creator has this. And if they tell you otherwise, it means they finally had some measure of success to satiate their desire, worked long enough to beat that hunger and become comfortable in life, or, most likely of the three, they're lying to you. Now, there are extremely rare cases of people doing things purely for fun, but the closer you get to fields of performing arts and mass consumption platforms like YouTube and the internet in general, the less likely it is to find them. And no matter how strongly you suspect your own alignment is good, you need to perform this interview with yourself. You must be absolutely certain that your heart is in the right place. We are masters at deceiving ourselves. Look in the mirror and confront the truth. This introspective exercise goes for all of you who don't have an idea or characters in mind yet too. You've got to enjoy seeing the art inside you come alive more than you enjoy the idea of people seeing you as art. If you're honest with yourself and conclude that your heart isn't on the side of art before recognition, allow me to say that I am proud of you for being strong enough to admit that. Sadly, I think you already know that your journey must stop here, if only for a moment. Once you have reconciled your feelings and come to admire the creativity inside you more than any self-serving desires, you can absolutely return to this point and proceed. It's okay that you stumbled into this path. I think a lot of us do at one time or another. I would actually argue that it's part of the growing process for a creator. What's important is that you are honest enough and responsible enough to recognize it. I am proud of you, and you're more than welcome to return when you know your feelings balance out in favor of creativity first. For those of you who have been ripping your hair out this entire time because you've known your balance is good and you hated that whole lecture, congratulations, you're ready to move on. The way we're going to do this is a sort of choose-your-own-adventure format. Select the video on the screen that most reflects your situation once the images are open to be clicked on. Since YouTube was stupid enough to remove the option of using annotations mid-video and is forcing me to put my links at the very end. If you have an idea you want to bring to life you feel is entirely new to the field, truly unique, never been done in a web series, ARG, or online storytelling project that you know of, or is at least 80% original, you're going to click one of the top sections in blue or red. It all depends on one key swing point we'll discuss in just a second. But even before that, I want to clarify that we are talking about ideas for entirely new terrain. New characters, new monsters, new concepts, new approaches, things that have not been seen in web series or online storytelling. Maybe there's a TV show like it, or a movie, or a novel, or a game, but if it hasn't been done by something I've covered on my channel, this is your path. If this totally original or unique idea heavily involves characters and focuses more on storytelling than format, go to the blue path. If your concept is far more alternate reality game and is more about playing with viewers, designing impressive and odd things, and being cerebral or abstract, go to the red path. Basically, if your concept is more traditional and you've got actors on camera or the uploads are made by people in a story who have emotions, problems to solve, and goals, like Marble Hornets, 70 Broad, Ben Drowned, and Spectacular Organic, you're on the blue path. If you're making something primarily abstract and thought-provoking with puzzle pieces that puts brain-twisting first and the human element second, like we've seen in That Poppy, Knock 10, InfoChamel, and Camdrome, you're on the red path. If you're caught directly between the two because you want to make things like Wham City Comedy does along the lines of unedited footage of a bear, This House Has People in It, and Children of the Mirror, you'll have to do what even Neo didn't think of in The Matrix and take the blue and red pills together. But first you're taking the blue pill. Go blue, then red in that order. You are a brave soul, and I wish you the best of luck and patience. If you have an idea that is admittedly pretty similar to things you know have already been done, if you want to do something that is very heavily inspired by a specific online project or series, or maybe a few of them blended together, and if you have an idea that uses, I don't know, a general public domain monster that has been used many times already, like a certain well-known man who is very pale, tall, and always well-dressed, then follow the yellow path. I'm not going to bite you over this choice. Don't worry. No, come along now, it's okay. We'll still have fun on the yellow path. Really, don't be shy. I'm not gonna hurt you. Finally, if you really love online storytelling and you totally want to get up and go make something awesome, but you barely have an idea fleshed out or just don't even have an idea yet, come with me to the green path. Let's learn how you go from seeing things in daylight to using your night mind. These video cards will rest here while you decide. Just click on the one that seems the most like your current situation, and let's get moving.